man for your boy. What it is, folks? What it is? Hold on 1 second. Let me bring this baby in. Let's get a little clean up on here. All right, maybe that's better. All right, let's see. Let me get my setup right here for a second. Stop turning. I'm trying to charge my shit. All right, yeah, that's better. There we go. All right, so give it a second. Derek, my man, what's going on? I want a lot of people to join. Share this if you jump on. Let me go ahead and share this out real quickly. And yeah, man, we'll have a rather good discussion today. What is going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me go ahead and share this. Let's go tweet. All right, Gio, what's going on, my man? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. You didn't miss much in the stream yesterday, man. It was a good one, though, man. I answered a lot of questions. We talked a lot about what's going on in the world today. Yeah, we had a lot of good conversations. So I'm hoping I have a, yeah, it was terrible. I went streaking yesterday. It was fucking horrendous. Had multiple cops called on me. I got some numbers. I got some numbers during my streaking. 1 out of 10. I'm 10%. 10% I get a number. I'm all right with it. Welcome, everybody. Give everybody some time to join. Welcome, everyone. If you do not mind, go ahead and share this baby on out, and we will have a conversation. Did you guys just see this? Look at this. I just did one up. Bah. I don't know, man. This quarantine thing, you know, the hair is I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I can mess this shit up during it. About to have some fun tonight? Yeah, I think so. I'm hoping some of the guys on Twitter join to have a difference of opinion, because I like to have a good conversation. You know, when you have the same opinion all day, you can't grow from that. So I'm hoping I get more join. If you guys don't mind, share this out. Oh, matter of fact, oh no, I did share it. If you guys don't mind, go ahead and share it out. I will give a couple of minutes before we jump into it, because I told people we're going to start. Yes, Derek, you remember the old school car chats. I have upgraded. My car chats have upgraded, folks. These are new days. This lady just looked at me like I'm a damn psychopath. These are new days now. I've upgraded from the horrible cloth to the beautiful leather. Your boy is moving up in the planet. Thank you, folks. Yeah, Anna, I've had, since I've been a little more, and it's probably due to there being no baseball. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's probably due to there being no baseball. I've been a lot more open and honest, and I've wanted to do this for years. This is not me just learning or me just deciding to talk. I think it has a lot to do with baseball not being there, because if I do the politics thing all day, every day, I'll end up exploding. My head will blow up. I can't deal with it. Sometimes I need a break from it. But I think a lot of it has to do with there being no baseball. But maybe it's good timing. Maybe things happen for a reason. So we will see. My live is open. Like I said, guys, go ahead and share this out. If you guys got questions for me early on, throw them out there. I'll answer your questions. Really, I'll answer whatever you like. I'll have a conversation about anything you guys want to have a conversation about. Michael, my day is going well, man. My day is going really good. After this chat, I will do and complete another workout. So that will be fun. And we'll go from there. You and Ryan should do a song together. Can't wait to see how many people actually come and talk on here from Twitter. If I had to guess, I would say none of them do. To be quite honest. And I welcome it. I don't welcome it as a name calling or a bashing. But if you got a different of opinion, let's talk. I think everything starts with talk. I probably said some things the last 2 days that some people might have been a little surprised about. Nothing bad, but I think some people might have been like, I didn't know, you were so deep in this or had such opinions on things. So yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. Any Yankees news that I know of? No. The only thing that I reported on yesterday when it came to Yankee news is that my understanding was that a season would be starting, or they hope to have it start in July. The idea was July 4th. I don't know if that's going to come together right now, so we'll see. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if that happens. Who would you rather get drunk with? This is a good one. Gio, thank you, my man. Thank you. Who do you rather get drunk with, Boone or Gardy? I think Gardy will be a hell of a fun time to get drunk with. Brett Gardner seemed more like one of those guys that would be more hype when he's drunk. I could see Booney kind of just like mellowing out. He's one of those, I'm just going to chill and lay in the back seat. Yeah, guys, we'll do that today. Yeah, go ahead, go to Taco Bell. You know what I mean? That reminds me of Booney. Gardy's like one of the guys like I am when I drink. I'm kind of the same way. I don't really change. So I think my conversations will be a lot funner with Gardy. No doubt about it. I think it'll be a lot funner. Silver Eagle says the 2020 season will be canceled. We'll see about that, man. We'll see about that. That's the problem. People don't communicate. I definitely agree with that. I think Trump calling these looters thugs got blown out. Yeah, it did. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. When I first saw the tweet, I read the entire thing, and I retweeted it and said, "Good. This is what a president needs to do. You need to, you need to put a strong message out there to try to stop this, because the leaders in Minnesota weren't doing jack shit. The leaders in Minnesota, would have let the city burn if that's the case. I think Trump saying something as the president, it puts a little kick in your ass to say, maybe, let's do this, because before that, it was almost a stand down. And you didn't hear anything else. Silver Eagle, I got you. You don't got to post it 26 times. I get it. But yeah, like, people took it out of hand, man. Look, hey, I don't want it to. I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to repeat it and retweet it until this thing exists. If you associate the word thug with African Americans, you need to look in the mirror at yourself. I don't care if you're African American and thought that. That's not right. That's not good. There's no reason you should hear the word thug and say, oh, he's talking about black people. That's fucked up. That's terrible. And I saw one person say, well, that word's always associated with African Americans. Really? Because Italian gangsters in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s were always called thugs. Folks, my grandfather's brother, you can look it up in the New York Times, he was shot and killed. The New York Times has the article. Peter Simonetti, Peter Simonetti, just like me. His brother was shot and killed. He was in the mafia. His brother was killed on Elizabeth Street in New York. You can look it up. It literally says, small-time thug killed. Small-time thug. That is not a word for a race. That is not a word for a race, folks. That's terrible. That is terrible to think that. And I'm shocked that so many people, so many black people even, are okay with that term going towards them. I've seen a few people say that's kind of messed up to just say you think it's black. It's not. That's not a black person term. That's terrible. That's horrible. I mean, that's ridiculous. Thug, exactly. Thug means criminal. Thug means something. It's like when we call young kids that are grown up that are bad, we call them little hoodlums. In New York, I used to get called a hoodlum. Growing up, I would run around the bodega. You would break things. You would be stupid in the Bronx. In New York, my dad owned a club. I used to go underneath it, and in the basement, I would break shit. His friends, look at a little hoodlum. That was never a bad thing towards anybody. So, I mean, it's fairly comical that we can just turn a narrative on a person. It's a terrible thing. That's the most racist thing I heard in the longest time. He said thug. You mean he meant black people? No. No. Because I see many white people breaking windows. They're thugs too. Now you have more and more evidence that it was from outside sources and not the people living in Minneapolis, which I think if you have any brain and logic, and folks, anybody from an inner city, I thought about this today. Guys, if you don't mind, go ahead and share this one out. Please, I greatly appreciate it. Facebook, whatever you guys, share this out. I thought about this one today. If you ever lived in an inner city, right? In your building, you may not know everybody by name, but you know everybody. Most of the time, oh yeah, dude lives in my building. You may not know him, but yeah, I know him. I know a couple of the dudes up the street that's always outside. I know him. I know him. You know the local barbershops next to you. You know the bodega. You know the owner. You know the people working it. You know the local grocery store. The girls that are the cashiers. The guys that are the cashiers. You know them. I knew everybody from my block. I may not have knew all of them from name, but I could tell you, yeah, dude lives on the 3rd floor. Or dude lives in that building. No, dude lives down the street. This one lives there. She's the one that works at the salon. You mean to tell me those same people were burning down their front shops, were burning down their neighborhood community stores? No, I don't believe that. I won't believe that. I can't believe that because it makes no sense. Dogs don't piss where they sleep. Humans aren't going to burn down their own city. I don't believe it. Now, maybe I'm a little ignorant to that situation, and maybe they did. I don't believe that. Now you have more and more evidence that people were, again, just like Baltimore, brought in from other areas to incite violence. This is what Antifa does all the time. This is not new. This is not breaking news. This is a common thing. If, again, you are from an inner city, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is not uncommon, and I don't believe if where I lived on 170th and Jessup Avenue, for an example, around the block, there are barbershops, there's bodegas. Down the street, there's a fish restaurant. If shit popped off in that neighborhood, I strongly believe most of us that lived in that building or on that block wouldn't affect that area. I believe that. I don't think we would. I don't know that we know people that work there. And we know they work hard in those areas. And we know they work hard for their spots. Sean King is not a Trump supporter. He said Obama did not have the DOJ bring charges against the officer. Well, that's true. And that's the other thing. I mean, and the other thing that people jump the gun on, and again, are stupid. When Donald Trump said, what did he say? Looters, when the looters start, the shooting starts, something like that, whatever he meant. 2 days before that, or a day before that, a guy tried to loot somebody's shop and got killed. And then what was it? 7 other people got killed for trying to loot somebody's shop. We got to stop looking at everything as white and black and look at it as a whole. That's the problem. I'm not saying there's not injustice. There is. There's definitely injustice. There's definitely certain people that in situations are treated wrong. Hell, somebody posted an article about, I forgot the guy's name. I feel bad that I forgot it. But he was an unarmed white guy who got shot in the back 6 times or 3 times, and it was never an article. He didn't do nothing wrong. It was come to find out he did nothing wrong. But it doesn't meet national headlines because it's not an agenda. The media feeds off of hatred, off of anger. That's how you sell the media. You sell it by that exactly, by causing an uproar, causing problems. And again, you know, this can go down so many different rabbit holes, but I just hope that people are waking up here. Everybody in this country, I really believe, feels the death that we all witnessed, the cop that is now arrested, it needs to be fixed, and it will be fixed. I really believe that. I think you do got, and people don't want to hear this, but we've seen it time after time, folks. You got so many possibilities of legit leaders that could step up in this country. Police brutality is always wrong. That's 100% right. It's always wrong, no matter who it is against. Always wrong. But you got so many leaders in this country that why don't they say much when good is happening? I can't recall, besides black conservatives, Candace Owens, God, I can't forget Burgess something, forgot his name, Tim Scott, a few of the black conservatives that have a real platform out there, the Hodge twins, would talk about the good things that were happening. The historically black colleges getting federal funding. That never happened. Why? It took Donald Trump to do it. It took Donald Trump to make that happen. Why did the First Step Act have to happen under Donald Trump? These are facts that you can't fight. I didn't hear LeBron James. Sorry, folks. I got kicked out. I think shit started getting a little too real for Twitter. For YouTube. I'm being censored. But back to what I was saying. I didn't see. And look, every black voice should speak up. Every black voice should speak up. But I didn't see LeBron James. I didn't see Ice Cube. I didn't see T.I. I didn't see a lot of these apparent black leader voices speak up when the First Step Act came out. I didn't see a lot of them speak up when, before the pandemic happened, we had the lowest black unemployment ever. I didn't see them speak up when historically black colleges got fully funded because of Donald Trump. This is all under him. Like him or not, a fact is a fact. Why did it not happen under Clinton? What? All the worst happened under Clinton, by the way. Why did it not happen under Bush? Why did it not happen under Obama? Why did it happen under the bigot? According to people, the bigot. Why did it take the bigot to do these things? And again, folks, these are facts. This is not me pulling something out of my ass here. This happened. This happened. To this day, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody could send me a tweet that LeBron James sent out. Maybe somebody could send me a tweet that the racist, who's a racist, Jamel Hill, sent out. Jamel Hill's a racist. And that's another thing, folks. Racism doesn't have a color. Can some people see more racism because of color? Yes. But racism doesn't have a color. Racism, the definition of racism is not, you got a hatred towards black. Racism is hatred towards anybody. And I think we call too much racism. Racism is hatred. It's true discrimination. Just somebody, making a comment doesn't necessarily mean that that's a racist person because they have a difference of opinion. We got to stop that. Because then you take away legit problems that people face. And that's not good. It's like, if you guys remember, Jussie Smollett, Juicy Smouye. That takes away from people who experience real hate crimes. The little girl in school that said white people cut her hair off, and it made national headlines, and then it comes out that it was a big lie, and nobody wants to talk about it. Why? Nobody even wants to take the story back. Guys, give me a second. Let me go ahead and share this some more. All right, sorry, folks. I just wanted to go ahead and share it out one more time. But that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing about this. I'm happy the man was arrested. Should he have been arrested sooner? Yes. It's funny because, Trump also put out the tweet that said he's going to get the FBI's civil rights group out there or whatever that kind of targets these type of acts. And he didn't get no credit for that either. And Attorney General Bill Barr said today he did. He started this a day or so ago. So again, man, it's all a media thing. If you truly look at things with common sense, that's why I think some people bother me. You know, the worst argument ever is, oh, you'll never know because you're not this, or oh, you'll never know because you can't experience this. Some of that might have some truth to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some of that might have some truth to it. As I got a damn eyelash in my eye. Some of that might have some truth to it, but the problem is a lot of people experience that no matter what. Folks, I shared with it yesterday. I'm not joking. I'm not lying. I've been called more shit. Okay, get this. I've been called more racist shit in New York than my wife, who is Dominican, my soon-to-be wife, who is Dominican, has experienced in the country. I don't know what that tells you, but again, I shared a story of me saying the other day, we literally were talking, and she mentioned to me that she has never truly experienced any racism in Virginia. And we go back to Charlottesville at one point. We were living in Charlottesville together. And when she said that, I was like, I never even thought about that, because we don't think about these things. We're not the type that go looking for this shit. We don't think about that. And she's not a quote unquote white Dominican. She's a woman of color. And she has told me flat out, and I know she hasn't. I'm with her all the time, that she's never experienced anything like that. And I'm happy she hasn't, because I would be the one flipping if she has. But to sit there and just say, well, you have no experience, no. And like I said before, I'm not discrediting that certain people may be looked upon differently. I'm not saying that that's not the case. I'm not saying that certain people have worse experiences. But again, I think it's a pretty powerful thing to say. We're always looking at this as a white and black thing. I'm kind of not, but I've experienced a lot of it. Being from New York, in East Harlem, in Washington Heights. And again, I always get along with Dominicans. Me and Dominicans just got a connection. I love Dominicans. But I've experienced it. You know what I mean? I never see it as racism. I never see it as hatred. I see it as ignorance. People are quick to throw the word racism around. I'm just not. It's ignorance. A lot of it is ignorance. You know, a lot of it is just pure ignorance, man. It just really is. Blazing says, in my opinion, the riots in Minnesota were justified. I completely disagree. And I can tell you why. I'm happy. Thank you for having a little bit of a different opinion. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here and doing that. I completely disagree. Let me tell you why I disagree. Now, we can obviously say that, you know, this isn't the first time that this ever happened, and that people have, you know, got upset, broke things, whatever it may have been. But when you, and this is why, I don't know if you caught my earlier part, I said before, I find it hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that somebody from an inner city, a whole inner city, let's say, for an example, who, when you live in an inner city, and I'll repeat this again because it is part of my argument. If you live in an inner city, you live in a building, you know the people that live in your building. You may not know them by name, all of them, but you know they live in your building. You know the people in your community. You go to the local barbershop. You go to the local grocery store. You know everybody typically. Oh, yeah, that dude from around here, I know him, or whatever. You know him. I don't believe those were the citizens of Minneapolis that were burning that shit down. I don't believe that. I don't think it's true. I got a friend who I make music with, who told me today his brother who lives there, and I've been getting some information from him, literally his music shop that he brought up himself was looted and destroyed. Why should a civil injustice, the death that took place, why should that happened and we know is wrong. But then affecting other minorities in your own neighborhood by destroying their businesses, that some of them may never recover from this. Why is that justified? How is that justified? How is that seeking justice? And the thing I guess that bothers me truly the most, I've rarely seen any leader besides maybe a few sit back and go, this shit don't make no damn sense. This makes zero sense, folks. It's like everybody's scared to have a different opinion. It's like everybody's scared to go against the grain a little bit. And folks, one of the other things, I think Tim Pool did this. Tim Pool, I don't know exactly what Tim Pool does, so some of you guys may know more, but he knows his shit about social media. He was on the Joe Rogan show recently. And Tim Pool, and this kind of shocked me a little bit, Tim Pool said one of the biggest problems in society today is that a lot of politicians are getting their ideas from Twitter. Okay? And they feel that that is the majority of the country that is on Twitter. So they get their ideas of how the country needs to be shaped going forward because of responses and feedback on Twitter. 2% of the country is on Twitter. Think about that for a second. I didn't believe that number. I still don't believe that number. But I'm going off of what this man said and the conversation he had with Joe Rogan. I have yet to fact check this, but that's pretty shocking to me if that's the case. 2% of the country. That's why I think a lot of times when you got some wisdom throughout life, you've lived different things, you've met different people, you've traveled around the world a little bit, you have a different understanding of when you see certain people say stuff like America is just a racist country, or America is the most racist country, or America's maybe in the middle of racist countries. Folks! That shit pisses me off more than fucking anything in the world. Because all that does is discredit everyone who's died for this country. No black people have died for this country. No whites, no Hispanics have died fighting for this country. We didn't abolish slavery in this country. We didn't do none of that. We didn't have a black president. We didn't have black judges. We didn't have Hispanic judges. We don't have a country where you could be from the dirt of the dirt and grow up to play a professional sport. We have a country where you could talk shit about your president and get away with it. We have a country where you are allowed to be anything. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people that have it worse. I am not saying that. But folks, there's still slavery in other countries. People are being prosecuted for following the Bible. And you're going to sit here and talk about this country that allows you to wake up, go on Twitter, talk your shit, and nothing happens to you. You're going to sit there and say this country is this and shit on this country and burn the American flag, which is the most sickening thing I ever see. When I see it, I get fucking sick to my stomach. Because guess what you're doing? You're stepping on the grave of everyone who died, who may have been a slave, who may have struggled through legit oppression, through real oppression, through segregation, through prosecution. You're stepping on all their accomplishments to get to this point. So when I say it is nowhere near 100%, this is not a... YouTube's not liking what I'm saying. But when I say, folks, that this is not a racist country overall. I don't mean that there is not problems still. There is problems. Everyone should acknowledge we have problems. Folks, I have been the first one. You guys may have heard my live chat the other day. When Donald Trump did the First Step Act, I said, man, take this further because people shouldn't be doing 10, 15, 20 years for weed for first-time offenses. That should never happen. That should never happen. But then people want to say, you know, you have people that commit crimes just coming into this country illegally that get caught and get set free. But what about the young kid in the inner city that gets a first-time offense and does 5 years? That's injustice. I think the majority of America agrees. That's my point here. This is not the 1920s. And Occupy, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I agree with you. You know, privilege in a sense is obviously a thing. I think anybody born with money and born into money is privileged. I've said that all the time. I said it in a song. What did I gotta try to my song Mirrors. When you talk about privilege, I don't see no difference when it comes to money. We serve in the same sentence. Is what I said in that song. That's something I talked about. When you talk about privilege, I don't see no difference. When you got no money, we serve in the same sentence. I said that in a song. It came out so natural. I do believe there are certain times where idiots take over and they fuck things up for society. Okay, I believe that 100%. Anybody with money is better off than anybody without it. That is just fact. You don't gotta be a scholar to understand that, folks. You don't have to be a scholar to get that. Anybody born into money is better off than somebody who isn't born into money. That's simple as that. That's simple as that. I have friends of mine. I mean, I don't like to go too much into my personal life. But shit, when I got kicked out of my apartment in New York, I lived door to door. I didn't know that my song Mirrors is 100% true. If you had never heard that song, listen to it. That song is 150% fact about me. Does that mean that I should be treated different? No. I don't want nobody to treat me differently. I don't ask for a handout. I never want one. I never want one. But I'm just saying, don't know somebody's life without truly knowing them. You may never know what's behind somebody's eyes. You may never know that by just talking to them. So we'll see. Blazing, I agree in a sense. The man should have been arrested quicker. I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that. The man should have been arrested a lot quicker. But I'm going to stick to what I believe, and I think you're going to see this come out more. I think these were paid protesters. I believe that. There's even video now of a few guys blocking a building, yelling at some of the white guys that are breaking shit, saying, "You're not going to do this to our community." So, and there's also apparently something that was out there that said, there was planes. People said they were coming out of planes, being brought in. That happened in Baltimore. That's confirmed. There was buses dropping people off, and it was confirmed to be paid protesters by George Soros. That's not a lie. That's not a conspiracy. That's real. That's true. That was declassified. To say there were cops, I don't know. I don't know that. I do know, and I'm going to throw this out there, Antifa's a terrorist group. These are white liberals. These are young white liberals, and the white liberal is the worst thing on the planet, but I'll save that for another day. But Malcolm X had the same opinion as I did on that one. White liberals are the worst. They're the biggest snake out of every snake, they're the biggest one. They're the ones that will tell you diversity, inclusion. Until you're diverse and you have a different opinion, then you become a piece of shit and you should lose your job too and die. That's how white liberalism works. It's a cancer. It's evil. If you don't believe me, listen to Malcolm X talk about it. If you don't believe me, listen to many of the educated that talk about it. Not all of them are terrible, but the idea of it is, we will march with you. We will celebrate diversity and inclusion until your opinion changes. Because then you're fucked. Then you don't mean shit to me. Matter of fact, test it. Test it. Test it. One day, just say, hey, I've decided to become a conservative. If people don't know that, watch your followers go down. Watch you get called names you never believed you would be called. Folks, when I first started coming out with this, I've lost over 650 followers. I don't care. It is what it is. Okay? I've had people that have saw videos of me with my fiance, have watched me since the beginning of my YouTube channel, call me a racist. I can't believe Simonetti's a racist. This is shocking. Me. No, NY Captain, I think it's even more. I think it's even more than that. I had at one point 5,600, 5,750 followers. Now I'm down to 54 something like that. I don't even remember. Or I was at 5,100. I'm down to like 4,882. Yeah, a ton. Blazing, I agree. And that's why I invite. And I don't see none of those guys on here. I don't see none of these guys on here. I don't see none of the guys on here who would talk crap on Twitter. I invited them. I said, please join. Let's have a conversation. Any of them. I don't see none of them on here. None of them joined. But you're 100% right. Having a conversation about your differences will make all the difference in the world. It'll make all the difference in the world because, look, I don't hate liberals. I don't hate anybody who has a different opinion of me. I don't like to be called names that obviously aren't true, folks. I've never met a racist that goes out with a woman of color, that has kids with a woman of color. I'll be the worst one of all time. Most of my friends, and I know people say I hate when they say they got black friends, most of the people I grew up with aren't white. My best friend, my brother basically, Felix, you guys know him as NY News, is Dominican. Been with me since the beginning. My best friend, all of our friends are a lot of the same people. Everybody, most of the people I make music with aren't white. I'm just being real. Yeah, people get the idea of a nationalist as the wrong thing too, and it shocks me. There's nothing wrong with being a nationalist. People just get this idea that nationalist is white supremacy. It's not. It's not at all. And they consider that, you know, Hitler would declare himself a nationalist. That's not the same body who puts his country before anything. Puts his nation before other nations. That's very true. Blazin', you're spot on, you're spot on, my brother. You are spot on. And you know, when you grow up in a melting pot, I don't see how it happens. I just don't. I could almost, and I hate saying it, I could almost understand how somebody who doesn't know anything else could look at other people like, oh, this must be one of these rap guys. I can almost see that because I can kind of understand that there's no education. It's not about just racist. There's no education. There's something missing here. Folks, I'm not joking. I'm not. Look, I know how people would see it when I say this. My fiance's a woman of color. She has seen less racism in her life than I have. That's not saying everything's okay. I'm just saying everybody has a chance of experiencing it. I gave you the stories yesterday. Those aren't lies. That's not a lie. That's reality. I never went around and said, oh man, these fuckers are racist. Not at all. I just saw it as ignorance. These are stupid ass people. That's it. You're ignorant. You don't know better. That's all it is, folks. Is there racist? Yes. There are no doubt about it, legit racist in this world. There's no doubt about it. 100% there's racist in this world. But I urge everybody, and again, I cannot wait till my platform grows more because I do feel I have something to offer people. I really do. I do feel I have the type of personality that can have anybody have a conversation with me. But I can't wait till that platform grows because conversation's everything. God, I wish I could be put in some of these guys' shoes that have these gigantic platforms, and you're just striking anger and division to less fortunate people. I don't like that. I never like that. I hate when I see that. It bothers me. Oh, all the time. A guinea, a whopper, a dago? All the time. All the time. A guinea, that's the normal thing. A whop, all the time. A thug? Yes. Yes. All the time. All the time. Countless times. Whitey? That shit don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I said the whole thing with the thug thing. If you're Italian and you know Italian history, Italians will call thugs before anybody. Italians created most of this shit. A lot of the slang words derive from Italians. I had an interview one time, right? When my album came out. And I could probably post it. But the interviewer, he was like, hey, bro, you guys probably heard this. He was like, hey, bro, I got to be honest with you, though. It's crazy to see an Italian enter this rap game because a lot of our influences are from you guys. And that's just true. The names, the style, the music videos, the slang terms, a lot of those derive from Italian heritage. I ain't taking credit for that. It is what it is. But to sit there and anybody who says, when you said the word thugs, you meant black people, you're fucked up. And either you're ignorant or you're racist. That's just fact. That's just fact. Another thing is everybody, I love that people take pride in who they are, and you should. Sal, I know you do. Sal, I tell you, man, I'm going to share this with you. I saw you the other day, man, singing in Italian, and I said, man, I love this guy, man. I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I saw Sal singing in Italian. I said, look at this. I said, it's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it, man. Some of the greatest people I ever met were people that weren't Italians, were anybody, just anybody in general. There's good and bad in everybody, and I just wish that we can see this more before we attack people that we know don't deserve it. You know, definitely, I feel that way. To see so many people attacked just for having a different opinion. I'm happy to see more people having these conversations. I'm happy to be able to lead a conversation about these type of things. You know, it is what it is. What happened to George is terrible. What happened to George should never happen to anybody in this country. When police are involved, you should feel safe at all times. When police are involved, you should feel safe. When police fuck up, the fuck up could be so bad that maybe they should just never have a badge. And it's one of those hard things to really. It's a thin line because when you fuck up, you really fuck up, and it's hard to say that's okay. They made a mistake. On this one, the evidence is all there, man. I don't care if now they're talking about, oh, maybe there was an underlying condition. Fuck that. There was no reason. The man wasn't resisting. The man wasn't so large that people couldn't hold down on the dude. To put your knee in his throat right behind here for as long as you did is fucked up. Yeah, he should have been. He should have been. And that's another thing that people, they want to throw blame to somebody else. Amy Klobuchar had the chance to prosecute this dude. This dude is not new to this. This dude is not new to this shit. He got countless reports on him. He ain't new to this. So again, I think if everybody did their job, a lot of these things would never happen. Misinformation is a real fucker, man. I'll be real with you guys, man. I see so much of it. I saw a post the other day. Did you guys see that post on Twitter that said something about the rednecks? There was two white guys holding AR-16s in front of one of the buildings in Minneapolis defending people from breaking it. And they only said these two redneck white guys. Come to find out, it was a group of lawful armed citizens protecting a business that wasn't just white. There were black guys that were legally armed defending a business too. But what narrative are we trying to create? Why? What does that do? Folks, I believe wholeheartedly in the Second Amendment. I have a right to carry. My house has multiple guns in it. I know where they are. They're properly secured. I know how to use them. I believe in that right for this reason alone. You think people were going to loot those buildings that people were armed and defending? They weren't going to do it. And they didn't in some of them. Everybody has the legal right to bear arms, and they should. And they should. So that's a whole nother topic, so I don't want to go down that, but let me get this and see what some of you guys are saying. The cop and George worked at the same nightclub for a year, so they had to know each other. Yeah, I saw something about that too. That would be hard to legally prove third degree. It's pretty easy to argue for. Borderline first degree murder. Yeah, I actually feel second degree murder really could be the case, because second degree murder is not premeditated. But you killed the guy. So I kind of feel like it definitely could have been second degree murder also. And per my understanding, it still could be. These are the initial charges. It still could be a second degree murder with more evidence, or I don't know how much more evidence you need. But second degree murder, if you guys want to correct me, I'm pretty sure second degree murder is the murder without premeditation. So it wasn't a planned murder, but you committed a crime. You murdered. So I do believe second degree murder is right. Yeah, but it was third degree murder, and what else? What was the other charge again? Manslaughter? I mean, manslaughter, if he, let's just say for an example, he only gets charged for manslaughter. That's terrible. I don't think that will happen, but this man needs to serve life in prison. No doubt about it. I mean, this guy blatantly, he killed him. He killed him, and to sit there and believe it didn't happen is just wrong. 10 years for assault. Yeah, I mean, you get many years. That's why I said, I'll be the first one to tell you guys, criminal justice still needs to change. I think Donald Trump and his administration did a wonderful job in the First Step Act, but that's the start. That's the start. That let a lot of good people go and let them have a chance to change life. But no doubt about it, that was just the start. There's a lot more that could be done there, and it should be done. So that's up to 35 years. That's about right. What's the difference between second and third degree murder? First degree murder is premeditated. Second degree murder is not premeditated. So second degree murder is, I got into a fight with the dude and I stabbed him. I killed him. I didn't mean to kill him. It wasn't premeditated. I never planned on committing this crime. We got into an altercation, but I did kill him. It's obvious. I stabbed him multiple times. I killed him. That's second degree murder, per my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody correct me again. I'm not a law expert. But my understanding is second degree murder is murder without the premeditation. That's what second degree murder is. First degree murder is obviously premeditated. You planned it. You did it. Third degree is killing someone doing a dangerous act. Okay, well, there you go. So that breaks down to 3 there. So yeah, to me, I think this is second degree murder. I don't necessarily agree with third degree. I think second degree murder by far is what he should have been charged for. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and share this out one more time. All right, I am back. Thank you. You know it's dangerous and unlikely to end bad. I'm just hoping that justice is truly served. No doubt about it. I really hope so. The other cops need to go, and whoever signed off on the report needs to go too. From what I heard today, and they're saying that they're fairly certain there's going to be charges for the other cops. They don't know what that is yet. I almost want to say there already should have been, but we'll see what happens there. We'll definitely see what happens there around all this. What time do we got? 7:40. Okay, so we'll go a little longer if you guys got any other questions. If anybody got any other questions, any other topics they want to talk about, I would appreciate it. Because I'm running out of questions. The media wants to spin things to have their agenda, of course, and that's one of the main things that bother me more than anything. There's an obvious narrative here that has been created, and folks, I said this yesterday. Anna, I think you were the one that might have asked this question to me yesterday, and I said it. I think you said something along the lines of Trump is good maybe, but he doesn't know when to shut up. I've agreed. I've said that multiple times. I think there's a lot of times where maybe he could stop, but he's Donald Trump. He is who he is. I like the policies. I like all the policies, and we know we weren't getting a saint here. No doubt about it. But is it? A lot of this shit happens in Democrat states, man. I mean, that's another thing. That's another long conversation. Well, Michael, he did address it. He did address it. He did address it. And see, my friend, have a good day. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for joining. He did address it. He also spoke to the family. So he said today he spoke to the family. Bill Barr said today he was ordered by Trump to send in the civil rights part of the FBI to discuss it, to go look into this. He did all that. He also mentioned his name and said, you know, the looting and all this paints a bad picture of what happened. You gotta stop this in his memory. Live in George's memory, not doing this shit. You know, how much more could you do? I mean, from behind the scenes, Bill Barr said he got the FBI involved to push this a little faster and to move this process quicker. So I don't know. I mean I think a lot of people again see the tweet and they read it in a way that it wasn't mentioned this way. That's just idiotic. I mean, at the press conference today, because what is he going to win doing that? See, that's the other thing. I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. Not with that media. It's not a fair game. He talked about it. I know in his second conference he had with business owners, retail business owners, he said it. He said he talked to the family, the horrible tragedy, the officer, you know, has been arrested. Justice will be served. So we said all that stuff. But when you got the media ready to ask you questions, it's always a gotcha. At this point, there is no the media will treat Trump fairly. That's never going to happen. And again, if you live down the line and if you don't live left or right, if you're looking at this from the middle, you see it. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. Does the president say some stupid things? Yes. Yes. I'm not one of the guys that just agree with everything he says. Yes, he does. 100%. But has the media been pushing lie after lie after lie after lie after lie for 3.5 years? Yes. Yes, they have. That's not fair. That came out. You had prominent Democrats saying on television every single day, we have evidence the president of the United States got assistance from Russia. This was Russia. He's a traitor to America. Only behind closed doors to say there's no evidence. That's fair. National television, there's evidence. Behind closed doors, under subpoenas, there's no evidence. I'll say this. Let me say this. Here's what I would like to see the president do. I really would like to see him do this. I would like to see him get a legit coalition together of African Americans that have spoken up about this. Bring them to the White House. Have a real conversation. I think that's okay. I think that should happen. When this originally happened, I said to myself, I hope that does happen. But here's the thing that bothers me. Would many of them go? I think a lot of the ones that really want to see change would go. I think a lot of them would go. But I would like to see that happen. I would like to see the president reach out and say, let's bring this conversation to the forefront then. Let's really bring this to the forefront because we have a video here that was obvious what happened. It was fucked up. It's horrible. Every bad thing you want to see. I think that should happen. I definitely think that should happen. No doubt about it. That would be a great next step to see happen. Would many of your outspoken leaders of that community come and show up? I don't know. I don't think they would, a lot of them. But they should. Her last name's Barone. She's Italian. Maron. Anna, come on. Oh, Fangul. That could be your husband's name. There you go. Italian. I can't miss those names. All right, guys. I am gonna go. I know. I can tell by the last name, my guy. I can tell by the last name. So if anybody doesn't have any other questions, anybody want to throw something else here, I am gonna enjoy the time with my wonderful, beautiful family I have. Yeah, and we are gonna enjoy this Friday together. So thank you guys for joining. I'm a little upset that many of the hot fingers on Twitter did not decide to join me and have a conversation. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I greatly appreciate you all for joining. I'm sure tomorrow being Saturday, maybe we'll have another live chat. Again, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon. Thank you for joining the chat.